Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to be right back with this week's guest, but as always, I want to give a shout out to my sponsors. Now, these are companies that you've heard me mention before. They're great companies. You should have them working for you. So take 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs. Don't hit that fast forward button. Then after you listen to our shout outs, listen to our Wednesday Wisdom guest, then go and visit these sponsors, particularly the ones that you don't currently use. Find out how they can help you. So just 3 minutes. Here we go. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. You can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. You've heard me say before, probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that live web demo today. We also want to say thanks to our friends at Huddle. You know, as a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches, our student athletes, even our parents just love the tools on the Huddle platform. Go to huddle.com, join the millions of users, and turn your school into a Huddle school. That's huddle.com. We also want to say thank you to Home Campus. Home Campus is a platform you're going to use every day for things like scheduling, rosters, results, facilities. Home Campus does all of this and more, and it does it better and faster than the other platforms. Did I mention athletic eligibility and clearance? That one alone is a game changer. Go to homecampus.com to get started. And with all of our sponsors, make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Educational AD Podcast. We'd like to thank Vital Signs Wall of Fame and their content creation program. Now, Wall of Fame has been helping schools bring their legacy to life for over a decade, but the content program, talking about game changer, they're going to take your stories, your history, your coaches, your kids, and come up with compelling narratives that you can then post on your social media channel. You got to see it to believe it. Reach out to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Find out about their content creation program. You're going to be very glad you did. We also want to say thank you to Gipper. Your athletic department deserves to stand out, and Gipper is going to show you how to take yours to that Division I, that professional level. Gipper is used and trusted by over 20,000 high school and college athletic programs. It's professional graphic design made easy. Use their thousands of templates that are custom designed to promote your program. And talking about customization, you can take your colors, your logos, your brand to really personalize them and create an image that's unforgettable. Create, share, and schedule your social media in one simple platform, and that platform is Gipper. Go to Gipper.com for more information. We also want to say thanks to Booster Hub, the #1 booster club software program. Things like volunteer signups. How about volunteer changes? You know what's going to happen. Nothing falls through the cracks. Everybody stays connected. Sponsorship payments, concession fees, everything runs through the Booster Hub platform, so you stay in touch. You know exactly what's going on. Give your boosters the platform they need. Give them the platform they deserve, and that platform is Booster Hub. Go to boosterhub.com to get started. We want to thank Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Now, I didn't get my master's through the Ohio program, but my assistant athletic director did, along with thousands of others. And while they were earning their degree, they also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. We also want to say thank you to our good friends at Hometown. Hometown Solutions continue to lead the way in education-based athletics with things like, well, digital ticketing, of course. They're still the #1 digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. But how about athletic website construction, fee-free fundraising through School Funder? The hometown list goes on and on. Whether you're an athletic director, a head coach, even a principal, hometown is going to show you how to save time. They're going to show you how to raise more money, and they're going to show you how to bring your entire community together. You'll find it all and more at hometown.com. That's hometown.com. And don't forget to mention the Educational AD Podcast. We also want to say thanks to our friends at Athletic Surveys. If you're not using a survey to take the pulse of your student athletes, your coaches, how about your parents, you're really missing out on a great opportunity for information. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. And like with all of our sponsors, make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Educational AD Podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. Longtime listeners to the podcast will certainly recognize the name Jen Brooks. And if you don't, let me just give a little bit of a thumbnail sketch. Jen is a certified master athletic administrator. She is the longtime director of athletics, 30 years plus, at the Ursuline Academy, and that's in St. Louis, Missouri. Has a tremendous background in our profession as a coach, as an AD, as a leader. She's also the founder of the Global Community of Women in High School Sports. She's going to talk about that and more. She's also the president-elect for the Missouri Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association, and a ton of other things. Jen Brooks, welcome back to the Educational AD Podcast.
Hi, Jake. Thanks for having me back.
Well, again, you and I were talking before we started recording. You were among our original guests when we started this podcast 6 years ago. We've got to know each other, over the years, seen at national conferences and things like that. We even shared a meal with our spouses in a great little establishment. But for somebody who might be new to the podcast, as I like to say, give your quick background. Tell your life story in 2 minutes so people have a chance to get to know Jen Brooks.
Okay, geez, here it goes. I was a 3-sport athlete in high school, 3-sport athlete in college. I graduated college in 3 years. That's my lucky number 3. I came to Ursuline to teach theology and to coach. And when sister hired me, she said, Jen, you look healthy. Why don't you teach health too? So I started my first 2 years teaching theology and health. At the same time, I asked the athletic director that was in charge. I said, hey, if you ever need any help, let me know. I'm happy to help. Well, my second year at Ursuline, she ended up having a really traumatic pregnancy experience. I stepped into the role of athletic director, and I haven't looked back. Been happily married to my husband for 30 years, be 31 this year. We have 2 grown kids, and I love what I do.
And again, I've got to know you, over the years, of course, but you came from an athletic background. You mentioned, you were a 3-sport athlete. And even though, I'm a little bit older than you, I'm going to guess that as you were coming up, junior high and high school, there were some, I guess maybe to put it kindly, some challenges and obstacles with women's athletics. Can you share, your experience growing up as a high school and college athlete?
Yeah, I think that I had a really small worldview at the time. I graduated from high school in 91. So I had a pretty small worldview. I didn't have the opportunities to travel and see life outside of St. Louis. So when the girls' basketball team was relegated to the later practice every single night, I didn't know to question that. And that was just like normal. And so then as I got older and my worldview expanded and I realized, oh yeah, that's not okay to relegate the women to the bad times, the late times, the no times, all the time, kind of like, shed a light on who I am and what I do now.
Yeah, and again, you've met my wife, Jan. She was a Title IX pioneer, if you will, back in the 70s, both high school and college. And she certainly shared her journey. And I think it's I don't know what the right word is. It's true that we are much better than we used to be, but we're still not where we need to be, should to be. And I think that's where your organization comes in from a leadership standpoint to help us all. Can you talk a little bit about what was your I guess thought process, and how did the global community of women in high school sports, how did that what's its origin story?
Yeah. Okay. So the origin story that, I'm a young female athletic director, and I didn't really have anybody to mentor me and help me and walk this journey with me. And I was tired and frustrated of being the only woman in the room. So I'd go to all these meetings, and oftentimes I was the only woman. And I don't know what changed in me, but something spurred in me that was like, you know what, this can't be anymore. I don't want this for the next person who's going to sit in this chair. I don't want this for the next young woman who wants to be a high school athletic director. I don't want the journey to feel so isolating. I don't want her to feel so alone. So I started the Global Community of Women in High School Sports. It's as simple as that. I wasn't sure, if it really was going to go, if it was a thing. And we started the very first year we started, it was, I forget the year, but it was the Maryland National Athletic Directors Conference. And I brought my daughter. And I said, okay, every woman that you see, you need to go get her email. We need to start with this database so we can start connecting. And we did a little thing with Huddle, and it was unbelievable. I mean, the response that we got, women were like, well, how come I didn't get invited? Or how do I get on the list? I'm like, okay, like I'm on the right track. This is something that's needed. And ever since then, it's just grown and bloomed into this beautiful thing.
Well, I really I didn't know about that step that you took, and it's genius, having your daughter get that contact information at the national conference. As you look back on what is now, I cheated, I looked on LinkedIn. You've been doing this now for over 8 years. As you look back on this 8 year journey, which is a journey that's still going, what are some of the changes? And if you're going to be modest and you're going to say, well, I don't know, I've got a couple that I'm going to throw out there, but what are some of the changes that you've seen that, again, these will be my words, that I know are directly a result of you and the global community of women coming into being? We wouldn't have these had you not started the organization. So what are some of the changes that you've noticed as you look back over those 8 years?
Well, I'd like to think that we're more connected, that, females working in this space don't feel alone, that they know that they can pick up the phone or send an email to me or to any woman across the country, and we'll support them in whatever thing every situation they're going with. One of the things that we did specifically was we created awards named after women, given to women. So we're really proud of that. We do a mentoring program. So females mentoring females. I think that's really important. So those are the couple of things that I'm proud of that we've done.
And again, those are certainly, among the many accomplishments. For me, one of the obvious ones is that at every state conference and at the national conference, it's been this way for a number of years now, there's at least one and sometimes multiple breakout sessions just for women athletic directors, women leaders. And it used to just be and this isn't a knock or anything, but it used to just be the spouse's lunch or breakfast or something. That's the only way that anything women centric was involved. You got to feel pretty proud about that.
Yeah, I do. I do. Because as a female, our experience is unique to us. And you all as our male allies will just never completely understand it. You might have an idea, but you'll never completely understand it. So for us to be allowed to have this sacred space where we can sit down and be ourselves, and not necessarily not be, but just have community with people that look like us and go through the exact same things that we're doing. I think that's so important. The other thing that I'm really proud of is here in Missouri, at least, they used to call it like the wife's breakfast. And,
Right.
I was like, wait, that's not okay. That's such an assumption. And so, yeah, so now spouses, or partner or whatever, right? Like that's just so important to be inclusive.
Right. And again, the whole movement, and again, this is a very positive thing in diversity and equity and inclusion and belonging, and all those terms that you mentioned. You growing up, you didn't have a woman athletic director to learn from. You certainly had that opportunity when you came to Ursuline, but still that phrase, which I don't know if you coined it or not, but it's really accurate. Being the only, in this case, only woman in the room. I think your organization and leading the way with your community has done a great job in opening doors and creating an awareness that, hey, these opportunities do exist.
Yeah, and I think we've also like flipped the script on it too. And so now when we say that we're, the only woman in the room, I used to be like, oh, I'm the only woman in the room. And now I'm like, I'm the only woman in the room. I'm going to take power in that. I'm going to teach these people. I'm going to, make sure I invite someone else along with me the next time. Like I flipped the script on it.
Mm-hmm. Now, again, I mentioned, you've been at Ursuline now for 30 plus years. And you're, for, if you don't know Jen, she is high energy, cubed. Okay. She is always on the go. You've got a lot more years to go, but can you share with our listeners an example or two, or as many as you'd like, about somebody from that next generation, whether it's, Z or X or whatever it is, that has, under your observation, and maybe it's direct, somebody in Missouri or somebody nationally that you've met, somebody that's really blossomed because of the network that the global community of women in high school athletics has provided them to be able to grow and become the leader that they are?
Jake, I don't know, like, yes, there's people that come to mind, but I'd like to think really what we do, it's like that ripple effect, right? That like I threw the stone in, I threw that rock into that river, that water, and then the ripple effect just went out. And so I think there's a lot of people that I may or may not even know that I have that impact on, which is also daunting if you think about it. Like, okay, I have an impact greater than I can even be, comprehend, which is a pretty daunting task for me, but I know it's important. I know that the work is good. And it's funny because every now and then I'll get frustrated or I'll think, is it worth it? Because basically I have two full-time jobs, right? And to think like, should I keep doing this? Is it still necessary? And then I get that phone call, I get that text, I get that email from some woman who says, oh my gosh, thank you. Or I really needed this, or keep doing what you're doing. I'm like, okay, I hear you, Lord. I'm going to keep going.
No, and again, I started the podcast a couple years. It was during COVID. A lot of things happened during COVID, but one of the things that I wanted to do, again, in part because of, my wife, we wanted to have equal representation with our guests, and we've done that and more. I'm not bragging. I'm just sharing it, but I will hear frequently from people who have been guests, many of them women, who they got a job because whoever the hiring person was, they Googled their name and, oh, what's this? Educational AD podcast. And they listened to that person's interview, and that it turned into a talking point during their job interview. And just having the resources, if you will, like the global community, available to this and future generations of women athletic directors. Again, I really want to stress that you should, I think you do, feel proud in what you've been able to be a change agent in, how the profession is perceived.
Yeah, I am proud, but like probably one of my fatal flaws is that like I want more. I want to do more. Like I'm not happy. I want to keep, I feel like I haven't touched enough. I haven't, done enough. I want to still help. So that's, but that's okay. Keeps me busy.
Now, we certainly aren't breaking any news here. This isn't a scoop. It's been out for, I think, maybe a couple of days, maybe a week. But what was the recent big announcement around the global community of women in high school sports?
Yeah, this is something that I'm really proud of. We removed any membership fee. There is no longer a membership fee attached to being a member of the global community. I wanted to break down any barriers. I wanted no barriers for women to have access to resources and to support when it comes to being a high school athletic director. So we are leaning on our sponsors and our partners and everybody to help support us because we really too we believe that everybody deserves this.
Now, talk about some of the resources. Well, first of all, let's give out all the information. We'll do it again at the end of the segment, but the website. How do our listeners find out more about the global community, and what are some of the resources that are now available for free?
Sure. So Global Community of Women in Sports.com is our website. We are in the phase right now. We're working with final forms to get our membership situated. But becoming August 1, you'll be able to sign up and register for free. So that'll be amazing. We offer a mentor program that will start in September. We offer master classes. So our goal is to have like 4 master classes a year. So like big names like a Julie Foudy, a Muffet McGraw, Becky Hammond are some of our recent ones. And then next to that, have other master classes on how to be either a better athletic director, better coach. Like if somebody has a product that can help us be a better AD or help us serve our student athletes better, we want to do a master class on that. We just recently did one on supporting our neurodivergent students. So things like that will piece throughout the system as well. And then at the National Athletic Directors Conference, we have our big celebration. And so that's awesome. We celebrate our 2 females that we give those awards to, plus just us in general, just getting together and celebrating. So those are like the big things that we do. Most of it's virtual right now. But then, like we said, we do try to get together and see each other in person at the NADC. And my dream one day is to have a big summit where we all come together.
No, absolutely. And the global community event at the national conference is always fun, always so very well done. You mentioned, the mentor program, and, the master classes. But you also, and we talked about this already, but there's also this networking component to your organization. How much of an impact do you think that's had over the years of helping athletic directors create and build their network?
I hope it's been a great, connector for people. That's the biggest thing I want to do is to be this bridge, to be this connector, whether they, meet virtually or they meet through our Sports U channel. I even I as a veteran AD put some stuff up there and like, hey, I'm looking for this. Can anybody help me? Boom, boom, boom. They help me. And that's what I want this space to be. So yes. And like, the cool thing is like I can call anybody. I can call Rebecca in Washington or anybody anywhere and just say, hey, I've got this situation. What are your thoughts? And I'm going to get great advice. I'm going to get safe, good advice from a trusted peer. That's important.
Yeah. Again, you mentioned the awards program that your organization offers that are named after game changers, women who changed the game. How gratifying has that been to not just recognize current athletic directors for their accomplishments, but also have them named in honor of, let's go and use the word, true legends in the world of athletic administration?
Yeah, I'm like really proud of that. As I sat there all these years and in different spaces, and you'd hear all the names of these awards, and they were named after men. And while that's fine, and they were probably very, deserving of it, women are making themselves known in this space as well. And so I think it's important. We always talk about it to my young ladies that were here. If you can see it, you can be it, right? So we have to start creating these opportunities for female athletic directors. They can see it, they can be it. So they know that they can become someone like a Leslie Moore was. They can be someone like a Peg Pennypacker, and then to be honored, along the way is pretty awesome.
Another resource, and I haven't been on the website this morning, but I do go to it. You have your speakers program with some really big names, including, let's say it, another podcast guest, Carolyn Sadeko. What can you share with our listeners about the speakers program?
Yeah. So, one of the things that we also notice is that you'd go to these conferences, state, local, wherever, and it was often the men that were presenting. And we wanted to remind anybody presenting a conference, a workshop, that there are women out there who are very capable of speaking and can do some great presentations. And so we created a speakers bureau. If you're looking for women, we want to connect you with them. And so if you're listening and you want to be on our speakers bureau, please send me an email. I'm happy to add you to that. And if you're looking for speakers at your conferences, at your workshops, please consider the having a female perspective up there as well.
Yeah. Let's go and talk about connections. And again, we'll do this at the end of the show. If one of our listeners wanted to reach out and connect with you or just pick your brain, because again, listeners, you got a tremendous athletic director resource right here, runs a tremendous program. What's the best way our listeners can connect with Jen Brooks?
I would say probably my email, I guess, would be that'd be a good one. I don't know if you can share that. jbrooks at GCWHSS, I think is what it is, Global Community Warren High School Sports. Yeah. Sorry, it's confusing. Or through social media, you can contact me here at Ursuline, jbrooks at ursulinestl.org. Um, I'm on Sports U, I'm on social media. Like, I absolutely want to be that conduit of connection.
Yeah. And if nothing else, our NIAAA members can find Jen on the NIAAA membership portal.
Yes.
I mentioned a couple times, you have the global community now going on to 8 years. There's no signs of slowing down. It's getting bigger and better. What are some things, if you can, maybe give us a peek behind the curtain that might be coming down the road, new features, new benefits of membership, or, maybe places that you're going to be speaking?
Yeah, right now we're still in that building out phase. We definitely have some things planned for Phoenix. Um, for us, it keeps connecting. It's connecting people. We did a trial phase with our last master class this spring, and we opened it up to anybody, not just members. And the response that we got was just overwhelming. So we are preparing ourselves for being overwhelmed in a really awesome way come September.
Oh, that's again, that's got to be exciting. And membership has always been strong, but now, as you said, removing any possible barrier, any financial barrier to becoming a member, that's I'm sure the floodgates have been opened. Typically in our interviews, and you certainly did this, you were a contributor in our first Toolbox book, but our interviews, we ask for contributions to the athletic director's toolbox. So I'm going to put you on the spot. You weren't ready for this. Maybe not three, but as many as you'd like, one to infinity. What's a tool, or what are a couple of tools that you've seen in your career to just be invaluable that you would recommend to a young AD or a veteran AD who happens to be listening right now?
One of the things I started doing recently was when I received that email from a parent who was unhappy, I immediately picked up the phone and I called them. And there's been such great power in that. So I don't email them back, pick up the phone and call them. The other thing that I used when I was young, and I think probably because I was young, I had an answer for everything, or, I thought I did. And now I realize, you know what? It's okay to say, you know what? That's a great thought. That's a great question. Let me think about it and I'll get back to you. So that pause has been just really life affirming and giving to me. And then my third thing is, you know what? I have learned to put boundaries on my school life and my personal life. I do if when I hear my peers talking about, oh, I'm working 24/7, all these things, I think they're doing it wrong. It's not I don't see it as a badge of greatness. I think you're doing it wrong. And so I've learned to protect the time away from school. I've learned to use a program called Boomerang, which you should all look into. And to give myself the grace to not have to be at everything. And that's just been really, that I think that's going to be my ticket to longevity is I found that grace, and I found that, it's foolish to work 24/7.
Boy, it's almost like you were reading a transcript of my early career, because those are three areas. And again, for the last one, the work-life balance, I don't know if I ever did a great job with that. I think I got better, but being able to listen rather than offer a million solutions to a problem that might not even exist. As you know, sometimes parents, they just want to vent, or coaches or whoever, just not come up with that answer. And the first one you mentioned, when you get that long 14 paragraph email that you look at the timestamp, it was sent at 2:30 in the morning. My boss taught me this at my last school. He just says, don't respond to an email. Just pick up the phone and say, hey, I got your email. What's up with that? Great advice, which I'm not surprised at all. Jen, thank you so much for all you do in this space. Thanks for coming on and sharing your wisdom once more on the podcast. And absolutely looking forward to seeing you and connecting in person at Phoenix at the next national conference.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. I appreciate the platform and the opportunity to talk about the global community.
For our listeners, we do Wednesday Wisdom just about every week, and just about every day we try to share stories and best practices from the world of athletics. Make sure you check out the global community of women in high school sports. Check out Jen Brooks, and hopefully we'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast. Thanks again. Hey, before we go, of course, we want to give a shout out to our great sponsors one more time. Let's say thanks to Home Campus. Go to homecampus.com, find out all the great things they can do for you and your program. Booster Hub is the #1 booster club software program. Go to boosterhub.com. Athletic Surveys, go to athleticsurveys.com. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Check out their platform at sidelineinteractive.com. Hometown, whether it's digital ticketing, fundraising, or more, you'll find it all at hometown.com. Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration, check them out at Ohio University. Huddle, I used it as a football coach. As an AD, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com. Gipper, turn your social media content into a Division I or professional looking platform. You'll find it at gipper.com. And Vital Signs Wall of Fame and Beacon Creative. Check out Vital Signs Wall of Fame and their content services. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast.